Didn't try and hide it either that the game, the last day was a bit of a kind of a liberation moment for the team, given same opposition the last couple of years, same venue, same stage, and all the rest of it. Was it that straightforward? It was just you had to win it, like if you hadn't won the last two.
Yeah, there was an element to that, but at the same time, we dealt with those same kind of like questions and concerns after losing to Limerick in the month's final again this year, where everybody, there was kind of like, and there was a lot of disheartened players and just kind of like so disappointing. And ultimately, if we'd lost that game, like what would happen? Like the world wouldn't have ended either. So, but at the same time, I think it was only getting into this week now and realising how big it is, the occasion in a couple of weeks, is kind of reminding me of what it was like 10 or 11 years ago when we were dealing with this before. And yeah, it's just a fantastic occasion to be in, and just delighted to be there.
Does it feel any different to 11 years ago? You're obviously not as sort of under the radar as you would have been back then, but like just as a lead in generally, is it similar or different? Or?
Yeah, it's very different, to be honest. I've kind of said it a couple times now, but I think there isn't actually that much that's the same as it was 11 years ago. Certainly for myself, it's so different how I prepare, how I think about these games. Even the position I was in, I didn't think I was starting that game. So that preparation build-up was completely different. There isn't really that much inspiration I can draw from it. The only difference, or the only thing that kind of is similar, is obviously the opposition and the size of the occasion. It's really just it never stops kind of becoming something that is just, you'd be so delighted to be in. Like an All-Ireland final is what you play hurling for. So
is there a party that hopes you win just so people stop asking about 2013?
There's a very small part of me, but at the same time that would make it sound as if I wasn't so happy with how 2013 went. But yeah, it would certainly be a nice way to, I won't say bookend because I don't intend to retire this year, but it'll be a nice way to stagger, not just having one win at the start of your career and then not winning an All-Ireland again after that.
Shane, what exactly happened to the finger?
Not so clear. Basically, I didn't protect my hand going up catching the ball, and I just got hurley to the back of it, and it just kind of burst open, to be honest. Like got in quite deep, and there was a lot of, I think it must have got you to the artery or something, because there's just a lot of blood coming. That was it. I don't exactly understand how it happened. Obviously the ball kind of hit the front and the hurley at the back at the same time kind of pinched it. It must just cause enough pressure to just cause a lot of damage.
So are you in at half time thinking I'm in danger of not playing with the Black Otter?
If they couldn't, I was like, it's funny, they're talking about like Brian must have said something really great at half time. I don't think I heard anything Brian said, because I was in with 3 medics around my finger trying to get it to stop blood coming out. I don't think there was any. I was going to go out anyway. Even I played the last 10 minutes of the first half with like blood like freely coming out, and I mean like I could still play, so I was always going to go back out, but I would have preferred if I could get a bit more control over it.
So did they just wrap this then?
Yeah, just like stereo stripped it around a few times, then wrapped it a few times with a thing. But like I went out then, the first ball was actually a puck out, the first one that came to me, and I caught it, and hand was just like completely red after it. It's just like blood everywhere again. So it's not much you can do at the same time as well. 15 or 20 minutes into the second half, then I ended up going for a throw ball with I think it was Keane Kenny, and he said to Ian Gordon, the ref, he's just like, he has to go off, like, and Gordon was like, he can't do anything about it, it keeps bleeding, and I was like, that's pretty accurate, like, there's nothing I can do, basically.
Have you been able to put your finger on what went wrong in the first half, reflectively now?
Yeah, I think there was a small bit of just a couple, it was just not great use of the ball, I think, was actually what was happening. We were getting the ball to positions that we could have done damage and get scores out of. It was just that last ball was just some poor decision making, some forwards like myself maybe not making the right option for the person on the ball, and culminated in forcing a pass that gets turned over and it's an easy score, and that kind of happened a few times. Then the goal was actually, it was a fantastic goal from Cody, but the prelude to it, or the precursor to it, is basically I just went off to get the blood sub, and we were down a man. As a man was coming on, the puck out came free, and he got to walk out to the 45 and lump it into Cody. And I mean, not to kind of diminish it, but they're small kind of things that just like you get a little bit unlucky and you don't. But at the same time, we weren't playing well because we just were not making our decisions, essentially. In your own experiences of those kind of games where you haven't played well in the first half, is there much roaring and shouting, or is that kind of a bit of a relic? Yeah, no, I think it's a bit of a relic. Certainly not in any team I've been involved in for a long time. It is really trying to diagnose like what's kind of gone wrong, and really kind of try to rectify it. Like if you're shouting and roaring, you're not really being able to. You're not communicating a message. Like you're just showing your emotion or whatever, which is fine, but it's not all that helpful. It's not going to help you find out what went wrong in the first half. So yeah, that doesn't really happen so much anymore.
We're asking Brian about your kind of second stage, as people might see it, of your career in terms of where you play now on the team. How organic was that in terms of moving away from the ball?
Yeah, I think it was very organic. I can't even remember how exactly I ended up playing wing forward instead of in corner or full. It was probably just through sheer competition in places, because there's a lot of good forwards in our panel at the moment. And then I kind of just changed through, like, I realised I was going to be on the half forward line, got a heavier hurley, started just playing and training a little bit differently. So yeah, that kind of just like happened over the space of a few weeks, and then suddenly had a couple of good games, and it kind of just stuck then. Essentially, there wasn't too much else to it.
What's the story with the hurley? That's been referenced. Podge talked about it. Your dad designed it, is it? And it's
Yeah.
so it's the way it is in the boss of the hurley, is that right?
There's nothing too unique about it so much. It's just that he's able to tailor it to what I need, basically. So, like I said, when I moved out to wing forward, I would have got a heavier one. And there's also a lot of it's a very iterative process, I would say. Like he'd come in with it when it's like nearly pared down but still too heavy, and he'd be like, "Where do you want some weight taken off?" And then he'd take a little bit off, and then I'd poke around it again, and a little bit more off, and then poke around again, a little bit more off, and then until it gets to like where exactly I want it, and then grip it up and finish it. So it's kind of like you do really get the exact hurley you want, because you're beside the person and you can go through this slow process with them, basically. I don't think the design is too unique. I think that's a little bit overblown on some of the things that Podge and others have said.
Can I say, has your mentality changed from, I won't reference 2013 again after this, but from 2015 when you think, because you look at just purely from a numbers perspective this year, your assists are like skyrocketing, but I presume there's an element of seeing the bigger picture. You have to obviously be conscious of that as you're playing as well.
Yeah, I think everything has changed since 2013. I think the way I play the game, the way I prepare for the game, what I'm able to do out there is all completely different, and what I'm trying to achieve also is completely different, I would say. So there's more different than there is the same as how like I would have relating to the 2013 matches. But yeah, a lot of it is same time, same game. You're going out, you still have to beat your man, you still have to win the ball and all that kind of stuff, but the way I approach it is definitely, very different than it was back then.
Jimmy Barry Murphy said once that he was a 17-year-old, I think, when he won his first All-Ireland, very similar to yourself. You scored 3-2, magnificent. But he said 10 years later he went up as a 28-year-old to Croke Park to win All-Ireland, and he found it far more pressure on him as a 28-year-old, because as a young fella you're sort of brash and you're not really. But would you find that the same way?
I can understand that perspective personally, no. Possibly just because of the trajectory of my career. I was very close to probably retiring a few years ago after that injury in my head, so it gave me a kind of almost free shot at everything that came after that. So I feel no real pressure when it comes to it. Like I would have always put a lot of pressure on myself before, and I do come into the games, I become obsessed with getting the most out of myself, but in a kind of strange way. I don't necessarily think there's pressure associated with that. It's just trying to do the best you can.
Picking up player of the month is just normal though, is it?
I mean, I'm not sure how I keep getting them, but yeah.
3 of them in one there at one stage.
I'm not sure who's voting me for any on these things, but number one advocate.
The enjoyment aspect of coaching, is that something that you think of more now, just simply enjoying the sport?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably my overriding kind of thought process in the last couple of days, that these couple of weeks coming into an Ireland final is something to be enjoyed. It's not to be winding yourself up on what ifs. And so my thinking today about throw in on Sunday week, you prepare your body and you do all the training you need to do in the next couple of weeks, but it is certainly something to be enjoyed.
Do you have a word for younger lads? Do you talk to younger lads about that, or will you?
Yeah, we've kind of chatted, but just at a very high level, really. We just kind of said, just try and take it in and enjoy it. Don't feel guilty about enjoying these days and this kind of build-up. Like, this is why you play hurling. So yeah, we've just kind of had that conversation at a high level, but we've we have a brilliant panel. The young lads that are there are incredibly mature, far more mature than we were when we were their age. So I think they're well capable of dealing with that themselves.
A lot of the 2013 team, they kind of referenced the fact that afterwards they kind of felt it should come every year because they got it so young, and then as the years have gone on, we're worried they'd never get there again. Did you kind of you have shared those things as well before that started?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I think, as I said, I alluded to a kind of strange trajectory in my career. Maybe do you think after you win the first year that it's going to be every year, or you're going to be up there competing semi-finals, finals every year? Obviously, that hasn't been the case. It's the first time back there, and it is definitely one that, if we win, it'll be one that I can categorically say I will enjoy a lot more than I did back then. I think it's just, when you get it, we had won minors 21s and then suddenly we won senior, and it was just kind of like, obviously it was a huge deal, but it was also just another year back then. And then it's just different, obviously, when it's 10 years and then 10 years pass and you're still playing. Also, like I said, I was close to kind of deciding not to go back a few years ago, and it was front and center in my mind, like, I can't believe this is how my career has gone from, like, I win it and then it just kind of like I end up having to retire without getting the opportunity again. So that certainly crossed my mind, but yeah.
And the fact that it's Cork again then, which went against the odds of both games in the weekend from it should nearly be Limerick and Kilkenny again, but it was Clare and Cork. The Omens are very good there.
Yeah, I mean this is where, like, Cork are a different team. This is what I'm saying, like, everything is so different than it was. Like, hurling, not even just my personal stuff, but hurling has changed so much in the last 10 or 11 years. And Cork are a very different team even than they were when we played them 2 months ago. Like, so things change very quickly, and we'll have to do a lot of work in the next couple of weeks to prepare for that game.
2013 was your first year, let's say, and then now you've injuries and all that included. You played over 50 games for Clare, which actually you're level with Brian Lohan at the moment. So you're level with your manager. I mean that's going with the icons in the top 10 of all-time Clare players. So I mean that alone must make you feel full of pride as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I did not realise that. I feel proud for what we've done as a panel. I feel proud for what I've been able to play for that number of years, but I feel proud about so many things about hurling. I felt proud watching Cork play Limerick the last day. I was just like, it's just great to play this fantastic game and to be able to see it shown in front of everyone is such a brilliant occasion and match, and it makes me feel proud to be involved and makes me feel proud to have the match in a couple of weeks' time. So it's a lot of things to kind of draw that emotion.
How did you watch it?
I watched it with my girlfriend and her family. It was actually my girlfriend's birthday on Saturday. It was a very good day. So we ended up for dinner or whatever, and then the next day we were all together, so we all just watched it up in Dublin.
So do you have an analytical eye on it, or are you watching the way anybody else would watch it, or what's your...
Yeah, that's good. At the start I think it's analytical, and then because it's such a rip-roaring game, it just gets dragged into the emotion of it, and you're kind of just like shouting and screaming at everything, like everyone else basically.
Did Cork do a lot of things that you have tried to do with Limerick?
They certainly did a few things that we were trying to do. We in some ways we're relatively similar. We do rely a lot on pace in the forwards and try to get Limerick moving, because Limerick are quite a very structured team in defence, and there is opportunities if you can get them moving. So that's a large part of what Cork got joy out of, and also what Cork got joy out of in Park Cueve earlier in the year as well. So we had seen that. They had more success certainly than we had trying to do in the Munster final, for a couple of reasons that John don't need to get into. But I think we did try to approach it in a similar way.
I met a Cork woman there last week, Shane, and she just said to me, how do Clare keep coming back? She said, so, where do you get that resilience? Like, you've had a few knocks and you come out and you beat Kilkenny in All-Ireland semi-final. It's a real testament to your character, I think. But where do you find that you can lift yourself again?
I don't, like, it's somewhat a strange narrative that I just don't find it difficult. I don't know, maybe it's just, I just love playing hurling. When I have a bad loss, the only thing I want to do is just play another game. So the fact that there's another game in front of you, it's brilliant. Just jump straight back into training, and then off you go again. You're back in with all your friends training in the panel, and there's no better place to be. So the narrative is a bit skewed in some ways. I think people think that you're so disappointed, you're crestfallen, all that stuff. But the best way to get out of that is just to get straight back at it and get back in with the group and just build for the next one.
Yeah. How much is the family involved? You mentioned your girlfriend there, your father obviously making the hurleys. Would you be chatting away with the family like normal during the week now coming up, or do you isolate yourself? Or?
Yeah, oh no, there's certainly no isolation. I'd be chatting away to anyone. Obviously, I won't be talking about hurling, but I'd be chatting away about things. But do you know what I mean? We played for ages now. They all know that there's no point asking about hurling or training or stuff like that. But just act like do all the rest of the time.
Are you in Clare now all summer? Are you going back, or is that?
Yeah, while I'm hurling now, and during the summer I'd be living in Clare, and then once hurling's over, I kind of live in Dublin. So it's kind of like roughly 6 months of the year each side. National. Yeah, exactly.
Sure, Shane. Thanks a
Thanks,
million.
Shane. Thanks a million.
Sound, let's